Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about 4 different news items about over there and your questions related to those news items because a whole bunch of questions have come in. So, we're going to just briefly go over the coverage in the event and then answer the questions that came in related to it. Okay, so starting off for those who aren't aware, there was a move into Rafah, and in it they took the Rafah crossing. The Israelis took the Rafah crossing, they took control of it. Okay, so the first question, is this the large-scale ground offensive? The reason this question is being asked is because half of the reporting says it is, half the reporting says it isn't. If you go to most military commentators, they are answering it in divided ways, but they're actually answering the question correctly, but with a lot of jargon. Okay, so it wasn't that long ago that we talked about how the plan that Netanyahu's team brought to the U.S., it appeared that they took the original large-scale offensive plan and broke it up into different pieces. Each piece was more of an operation rather than a massive offensive. I think I said in the video that will be down below, there will be a video down below, that if they did it all at once, it would be an offensive, but they're breaking it up. This is piece 1 of that plan. So, is it a large-scale ground offensive? Not technically, but it's part of trying to accomplish the same thing without technically becoming a large-scale ground offensive. Okay, next question on this. Is them taking the Rafah crossing bad? Now, a lot of times this question came in as, why is it? Because people are very upset about it. There are 2 reasons. The reason that most people are providing is that they feel that it will impede aid. And obviously, impeding aid is bad. The other reason that is less discussed is that this is probably really going to upset the Egyptians. It's been a long-standing thing that that Israel is not supposed to control the other side of that crossing. A very long-standing thing. So that is probably going to upset them. And given the fact that they are playing a role in the negotiations, that's bad. Okay, there is a rumor, and it is a very persistent rumor, that Netanyahu's team wants to hand off control of that crossing to a private company. A lot of the rumors says that it's a U.S. private company. I know people at the companies in the U.S. that are capable of handling it. None of them have heard anything about it. That gives us 3 options. 1, the rumor isn't true. 2, the rumor is true, but they have decided to go with a company that maybe doesn't have an established track record of handling something like this. The third option is that, well, the people I talk to are either don't know because the leadership of that company is keeping it very quiet because it is sensitive, or they do know and they're lying to me because they know that if they told me, I'd tell you. I mean, that's something that has to be considered in this case. The obvious follow-on question, is that a good idea to hand it off to a private company? Under normal circumstances, I would say no. Like, that's not a good idea. It's a horrible idea. Given the current situation, it's probably the least bad idea. I do believe that they would probably be better at moving aid. And it might mitigate any issue that Egypt has with it. So That's that. Again, that last piece, it's a rumor. But it is one that it's making the rounds very, very quickly in circles that people normally don't buy into rumors, but I can't trace it back. Okay, so the next question is the report. I guess the next piece of news is that the report that was supposed to go to Congress about the behavior of Israeli troops and whether or not it would be cause to interrupt U.S. military aid has been delayed. The reporting says that it's been delayed indefinitely. From my understanding, about a week, less than. But we'll see. The question is, why? Why was it delayed? There are three real options. One is that the administration has just thrown their hands up and they're reevaluating what to do because they put a lot of pressure on Netanyahu to make sure there wasn't a move into Rafah. And even though this one is not, it's not done in the way that the U.S. truly objected to, it's still not what the U.S. wanted. So they may be delaying everything in an attempt to figure out how to proceed from here. Option two would be to make Netanyahu think that it's option three and just let him sweat not knowing what's going on. And then option three is like what we talked about with the Kingdom of Denovia. They got that, whatever was in their eye, they got it out. And that's how they initially wrote the report, was just about a limited set of events, but because of what's going on, they may decide to be a little bit more detailed. And there will be a video down below going over that. Okay, Biden is reported to have paused weapon shipments. And there's a whole bunch of different questions about this as far as why he didn't announce it, why the aid was approved, but then he's not delivering it. Is this just a move after the fact? Did this really happen? All of that stuff. The most common was a phrasing that basically boiled down to he's only doing this because of the negative pressure. And I don't really think that he did it. Otherwise, he would have announced it. Okay. The whole point of doing it this way, which is delaying the shipment and pretending that it's not delayed, just making it seem as though it's being delayed for some reason other than applying pressure, is to make sure that there's not really a record of the U.S. denying an ally arms during wartime. The reason it wasn't announced is because he's not trying to win a Twitter war. He's trying to mitigate a real one. And it wouldn't be announced. They would just do it. They would slow walk the shipments. Normally, when they do stuff like this, they delay one component that is important when it comes to the military. It's one of Murphy's laws. Things that have to be together to work can't be shipped together. So you delay one component, and it really ends up delaying a whole bunch of different shipments, because the stuff won't work until that main portion gets there. There is confirmation of this happening once. I am almost certain that it has happened more than once. That's just the one time they have confirmation of. This process of slow walking military aid like this has been discussed on this channel as something that Biden was probably doing since March. there will be a video down below. And then the last one, well, the last news item, and then we'll get to where things are going. But the last one's really just me being snarky. The pier has completed construction. And the question, you said it would be now if everything went perfectly. It didn't go perfectly, and it's done. Now what? Okay, first, that's not what I said. And it's done, meaning the pier is complete. It has been completed. The construction is complete. However, it is not in place, which means regardless of the press releases, aid will not start flowing in tomorrow. There will be a video down below. Now, where does it go from here? So, the Palestinians believed that there was a ceasefire to the point that they were celebrating. There was celebratory fire over it. And then the move into Rafah occurred. At that point, the talks collapsed. They appear to have kind of been restarted through the efforts of Burns and the Egyptian team and the team from Qatar. So that is where it's at. It's moving again. They're talking again. But this episode, it damaged the trust. And understand, there wasn't a lot there to begin with on any side, directed at any side. Nobody trusted anybody. And even in the way the various sides see how this event transpired, they can't even agree on that. It was incredibly damaging the way this played out. And it's not something that can't be salvaged, but it's going to take work. It is going to take work. So they're talking again, and that's about the best we can hope for right now. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.